Well, first of all, thank you so much to Diana and to Christina for your amazing organization. I want to tell you a little about ICAT. Could I just ask you to pause the video just for a second? Sorry. Could you just pause it for a second? And I'll come back and start it in a second. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for inviting me here. I was asked to talk about communication and smart strategies. And so what I wanted to do is to tell you two things that I found over the years of working in cultural policy research, cultural networking, and so on, because I've been working in the field for over 30 years. And the two things are key. The digital technology, of course, will change. It has over the course of my lifetime. I'm sure many people here. The way we communicate, or the transportation of information has changed over the years. But the content is still the most important thing. And if you don't have good content, then it's a problem. And one of the things that I've found is that it's really important to transmit strong values and strong principles behind every message. And I know I'm talking to the converted here because you've all got very, very strong messages to tell. So while I'm talking this morning, I'd like you to have a think about what are your principal values and you know, what is behind what you do? Why are you doing it? What is that essence that you always want to transmit in your messages? The second thing that I've learned over the years is that the best messages are those that are transmitted by others about you and that you can transmit about others. So the idea is that if you shine a light on other people, the light will shine back on you. And we're increasingly seeing, some people call it cross-marketing. That sounds a little bit business and formal for me. But I like to think of it as shining a light on other people, and then that light reflects back on you. And so things like tonight we'll have the gala, which will be wonderful, to celebrate the Sunflower Awards, which I think is a fantastic project and initiative, because it really shines a light on all the wonderful work that you are all doing. I know there's plenty of people in this room who are doing really fantastic things, and it's a beautiful way of shining the light on those. So I want to tell you a little bit now about how we're doing that, or what we do at ICAT, and how I came to those conclusions. So we can start the video now. Sorry. So ICAT is in, can you start the video? Sorry. Great, thank you. So ICAT is a global network of experts from many, many fields: culture, arts, agriculture, tourism. And what we want to do principally is to empower communities. It's so important for us to do that. Why? Well, first of all, because we want to protect food sovereignty. One of the things that we realized is that we could do that by protecting and both promoting cultural and food diversity. We realized that in this globalized world, we're losing plant and animal varieties at vast rates, and therefore we really need to think about our food sovereignty, not just for us, but for the environment in which we live. And so biodiversity really depends on us also celebrating our cultural diversity. And these things are all key. Everything is interlinked, and very often we work in silos, and we don't think about the interlinks between one another. And one of the things that we realized is that sustainable tourism, rural tourism, could really help benefit people, but also it could have a role in protecting our food sovereignty and ultimately biodiversity. We work by exchanging, having platform meetings, networks, but we also have a digital platform where we have webinars and share information. But all the information comes from people like you who are working in the field, who have brilliant knowledge, who are doing fantastic things, but maybe don't get the credit that you rightly deserve. And so the idea was then, how do we really shine a light on all these amazing people? How do we share this knowledge? And how can we promote what you're doing? So we decided to start an initiative called the European Region of Gastronomy. The idea was that we would build a platform of regions that are working hard to protect and promote their cultural and food diversity. We would bring them together, ask them to work together across different sectors on various focus areas that would help, for example, healthier living and better welfare for citizens, because at the end of the day, it's more important that your citizens that are happy. It's very important for them to be celebrating their own cultural and food diversity, and then the visitors will want to too. We also we look at employment and job opportunities that can come about as a result of protecting and promoting cultural and food diversity. And they are principal in the agricultural fields and also obviously in tourism, and particularly sustainable and balanced tourism we talk about. Very important for us, this idea of balanced tourism, because we don't want overflows of visitors, but we want the visitors that will respect and care and spend more in our region. So again, it's about smart strategies to think about how we can get the visitor to really care about what we eat and what we do as a community, and that they respect that and take care of it. We also look at the urban and the rural. So the idea of also educating our urban citizens to appreciate what we have in the rural environment. These are all absolutely key for us because obviously in this day and age where we're all rushing about, it's important to be able to be seen, to be heard. And as a result of shining a light on others, we've been able to get international visibility for all of our regions. And this has been an exciting venture because initially we were only really thinking about, okay, how can we help the local? How can we help the national? But the international became all important for all of our platform. The region said, okay, we like the award, we like the idea of a European Region of Gastronomy award, but actually we want something long-term, so we want a platform. So all of the regions that apply as candidates for the award join a platform to learn from each other. And the wonderful thing about that is, as I said at the beginning, by shining a light on others and talking about each other, it shines a light on you. And what we've seen is all sorts of results, not only from the vast amount of people taking part in the programs that each region is developing, but also international flights opening up between the regions of gastronomy, because if you've been a region of gastronomy, you want to go to another region of gastronomy, you want to see the other. So it's been extremely exciting to see. Well, that wasn't part of my presentation, but so one of the things that we've been doing, is it possible to get the video back? Sorry. Okay, well, I will finish by saying that we have, between the regions of gastronomy, within the platform, they realized another important thing, which is that expectations have to be met. So you can communicate wonderful things, but if your visitor then finds something very different when they arrive in the region, that would be a problem. And nearly all of our regions are facing similar issues. So we always are looking at how we can address those. So one of the ideas that came about was a joint project which was the European Young Chef Award. The idea being is to try to get young chefs to think about how they can address food sustainably, how they can resuscitate old recipes and make fine dining possibilities for them. But above all, how they can shine a light on the local producers. Again, shining the light on others. Okay, we're using this cheese from this local producer, we're using these plant and animal varieties. Why? Because if we don't eat it, they won't produce it. So we really need to shine a light on others in order for us also to have those resources longer term. The young chefs have been absolutely fantastic because they've really taken this idea or this philosophy to heart in what they do. And they have really been the ones now that are taking, that I would say philosophy forward. So now within the competition, they look at eliminating food waste, getting rid of single-use plastics, ensuring that they work with plant or animal varieties that maybe in danger of extinction because we're not using them anymore. So these are the kind of things that the young people are thinking about and really driving forward. And of course, they are the young chefs of the future in your region. So it's absolutely important that they are, thinking about how to shine a light on others. We have 3 other projects as well, which are the World Food Gift Challenge. Again, working with food producers to tell the story of your region, getting the food producers to think about how they can tell the story about your region, working with tourism and others. But not just for visitors or tourists, but for local citizens as well, because if you can repackage and brand and think about your food as a food gift, they can be gifts for special occasions and for corporate occasions. My colleague, Dr. Edith Shivaz, she will tell you a little bit more about that project in the panel, I think, later. Another project that we have is the top website for foodie travelers, and all of you are welcome to submit to that competition. It's a free online competition. The idea was to find digital routes to our regions, because one of the big problems as an international visitor, as and we've seen that bookings online are going up exponentially for independent travelers. Finding your regions and finding the most rural spots is actually quite difficult. So we need portals that can take us to those rural areas. So the top websites for foodie travelers is really about looking for those portals into those digital routes into your regions to find the very best food experiences for foodie travelers. And the final joint project that I want to mention of the Regions of Gastronomy, because it really is part and parcel of the theme of this conference, is about audiovisual materials. And it's the food film menu. So we launched the food film menu, which is a competition for short films that tell the story about your region and your food. Again, you're welcome to apply to that competition and submit short films for that. The deadline, I think, is the end of June. But we have many categories within the food film menu from, for example, and you may, well, I heard yesterday from some of the speakers that some of you are addressing this problem. We have a category for young farmers, young fishermen, and young food producers. So the idea is to shine a light on those that are doing really great things and are choosing as a lifestyle choice to go into those professions, because we need to celebrate those professions and to show that they can be an opportunity for young people again. We also have a category for bees and pollinators, for example. And it's really wonderful to have been working with the Association of Beekeepers in Slovenia. Slovenia was European Region of Gastronomy in 2021. And they had been working tirelessly for years to have the United Nations recognize World Bee Day on the 20th of May. And we said, that's fantastic. We're going to use our competition also to shine a light on your work and what you're doing and invite other films about the importance of pollinators and the bees. So in that way, we were able to open up another aspect of our competition, but shining a light on them as well. So it's been a kind of a roller coaster ride for us since the European region of gastronomy started. The very first regions to celebrate the title was in 2016. We now have 17 regions across Europe who have the award and many candidate regions. And I'm really happy that we have one of the candidate regions here from Croatia, the Kavana region. And I'm very lucky because next month I'll be back in Croatia with an independent jury to visit the region and to assess whether they are ready to host the European Region of Gastronomy title in 2026. So good luck, Kavana region. I'm sure you will be incredibly successful. So that's enough for me. Just to go back to the start, is that shining a light on others is, it's probably the most pleasurable part of my job. And I'd like you to all think, or take away as homework for yourself, who can you shine a light on today? Because we all care about what we're doing. We all have a story to tell. And together, we can really make a difference. Thank you.